Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them, and I love sharing them with you. Feel free to follow me on social media if you would like. Links are in the description below. I've also posted a link to the Marvel fan site that I have plot synopsis and character bios for these issues. We're going to be looking at the X-Terminators 1 through 4 from 1988. This kind of is a prelude or a just a separate story that leads to Inferno. And this is supposed to introduce Naster, which we have already met in various issues of X-Men and X Factor. So this series is written by Louise Simonson, who is also the writer of X Factor and New Mutants, and drawn by John Bogdanove, who will take over for Simonson in X Factor, and will follow Louise Simonson to DC Comics to do Man of Steel. So here we go. Invasion of the Baby Snatchers is the first issue here, and we've got Naster making a bid to take over Hell, and he's got his fellow demons that are on his side. Louise Simonson is a writer. John Bogdanove is the penciler, and two inkers, Al Williamson and Al Milgram. And I love Al Williamson. Al Williamson, I believe, has passed away. He was an artist in his own right during the Silver Age of comic books, and he was John Romita Jr.'s inker on Daredevil. So, Sim is currently in charge of Limbo, and here is Ileana Soulsword, and Naster fights. Oh my gosh, Naster fights Sim, or Sim fights and punches Naster here, and so off we go here. We're going to have a bit of a fight, but it's going to be a short fight. Sim is actually going to beat him, and this demon says, hey, you could have actually beaten him, but he's like, hey, I got my reasons. Naster says, hey, you're going to go to Earth and get me 13 kids. I need these kids with power. And so this is part of a hunt of some kind that needs to happen before Inferno goes through. So Naster is actually going to be the one to go get them, but he actually uses Cameron Hodge from X Factor to try and get these kids. This guy sees commotion here in the cemetery. I like the little skull with the candle there. He goes to investigate, and Naster and the demons have come through. They're gonna kill this guy here to make him try to help them. So they kill him, and he's like, all right, let's go find these 13 kids. We need the 13 kids. And this guy goes, hey, I found one. And he licks whatever this is. Is this supposed to be a rat? I don't know. It could be a rat. He's like, no, they're human, just like our friend Bill. So go get them. And so off go the demons. So we are going to start with Artie. This is the children of X Factor is really what this is about here. We've got Artie and children. Rusty is turning himself over for the crimes what they believe are the crimes where he ended up killing that lady in X Factor #1. So he's turning himself over to the Navy, and everybody, of course, is sad. And Skids, it was dating him. This is the force field that is so they sort of use by her. And so they're about to get him. He uses his powers to keep him away and calm her down. Says, we need to do this. I need to do this, and I'll be okay. So he gives himself up. Look at poor Artie and Leech here. Their broken heart, the kind of good luck, and he gives them a hug, and he turns himself in. So several days later, it says here, she's got Artie and Leech, Jean Grey does, and so Marvel Girl is going to send them to school here. And so the kids are going to be with them. They get separated, and they're like, no, we're friends. We need to be together. And of course, they won't be separated ever again, says the headmistress. This is the headmistress, and this is her assistant here. All right. There's this kid here. We'll get to his name later, but he's a mutant genius and he can uh he's basically a computer whiz and he can turn this into anything that he wants. And he's like, "Man, they're freakier than me." Um and so I don't know. He's just kind of like crying, but what he says really doesn't have to um do much. I mean, he was left there by his parents, so maybe that's what he's crying about. But later, we've got Iceman here bringing the Skids and Boom Boom and Richter to this school that Warren Worthington went in there. And so you see all of his this gravity would have broken this. I know that, but this is just not possible. Not that someone can ice themselves over is possible, but hey, I guess who cares? It's comics, right? And so I love Bogdanov's cartooning here, making them like they're better than everybody else, kind of very with their faces, with the eyes closed and the lips. This is just beautifully done. You get the meaning that they think that they're better than everybody else, and of course, Boom Boom and Richter use their powers, or Boom Boom's gonna blow him up, and Richter says, "I'll handle it," and so he uses his powers to get the ice over these guys here, and look at them. Oh, we didn't do nothing. Great cartooning by Bogdanove. All right, the so learning at school, and I'm kind of going kind of quickly because we're gonna be doing 4 issues. I don't want to be here reading this like I normally do here. Here's Takeshi, who's this kid. He puts his tongue out at them here because he thinks that they're not nothing special and he's better than them. Of course, the teacher's like, he's so bright, but he just has such a chip in his shoulder. And so his machine breaks because it's part of his mutant powers. And of course, Leech uses to disrupt mutants, but he doesn't know he's a mutant at this time. And so he's like, get away from me. And so here, same thing now at the school. You got these kids that think they're better than everybody else. And looking at the clothes here, Boom Boom, of course, is not impressed, uses her powers and shreds them here. So, all right. Here, the kid is explaining that he is good at computers. He's practically a computer himself. And things are starting to work, but suddenly it stops working. He realizes it's every time Leech gets near him. And he's like, I'll just need Artie. And Artie gives him the raspberries here and sticks out his tongue at him. So, because they're friends. But once he steps away, things start to work. But of course, the demons are there because they're after Artie and Leech. And so the thing doesn't work. He falls down, asks for help, and says, please come back. And so, of course, the kids help him, put him in there, and they go to sleep. And they kind of go together because they're besties. So it's sweet. All right. He kind of wakes up, sees the demons, gonna go see what's going on, sees that the demons are going into Artie's and Leech's room. You can see that this helps him go up and down from the escalator or from the stairs. Sees that the demons are taking Artie and Leech. He goes to them. They realize he's got powers, and he sort of pushes them back. And he's got this. He's like, how did this get there? So this is where he's discovering that he can manipulate stuff. So even though he's got powers, they're gonna leave him because they're supposed to be smaller kids. And you can see the kid turning this into that machine there, his wheelchair. So he goes, gets them, and they swat him away. And he wakes up, and he's like, hey, they got Artie and Leech. So they go get the police. He tries to call the college to talk to Skids. And the lady's like, no prank calls, and hangs up on him. So he's going to go over there. And he realizes that he can convert his wheelchair into anything. And so he turns it into a helicopter, and off they go here. So he's going to go find the Skids and Boom Boom and Richter. So He's like, hey, they kidnapped the kids, and so off they go, and they're all of them are gonna go, and so the police are gonna stop them, and Boom Boom throws her little bomb at them, and boom. So um, he also says, hey, let's use that as energy. So she puts it in there, and of course, it works. Now they're going to go get Rusty from the Navy prison. And so they break in, and they of course are going to try to be stopped, but Richter kind of uses the Hulk slap, and his powers are to create earthquakes. Skids, of course, is able to create a force field here. Boom Boom uses those little bombs. So Rusty says they're over here. They're like, hey, they got the kids. We got to go. And so they get him out. The guards, of course, are like going to try to stop him, but he uses his powers and all that. And he ends up breaking out and are going to go look for them. So we're going to look at the next issue. Speed Demon and Inferno is just around the corner. So here comes issue number 2. And we're going to see the same creative team. And you can see that Takesha is being taken by a demon here. All right, so they are taking Artie and Leech to this cemetery here. Speed Demon is our title here. Same creative team. Well, minus Al Williamson, just Al Milgram now. And so Nastris, his name is so difficult for me, is speaking with Cameron Hodge, and that is from X Factor 34, which I have covered in the playlist. I have a playlist with all things X Factor, all things New Mutants, all things X-Men, all things Wolverine, and I have one where I have everything in there. So take a peek at whichever one interests you. And so they interrupt the communication here as they bring Artie and Leech, and Nastris has the Book of Belasco here. And he's like, hey, I want my kingdom set up here on Earth, and I need 13 babies, and these kids are too old. So he's like, go get me babies. And they're like, but they're bald, like babies. And so he's like, they're too large. Go get me the babies. And so he's angry at them because he wants to make hell on Earth. And so the guys are like, should we eat them? And he's like, nope, not yet. We need them here. So when Artie is separated from Leech, he sends out a message here. And so because the demons were telling them that he has powers, and they see here that they're projecting a message, so he throws them back to Artie to make the powers go away, because they figured Artie is Leech dampens powers. And so of course the kids see that, and they're like, we need to go get X Factor, and they wonder if those demons are some kind of evil mutants, of course. And so he says that they're in New York, and they're not going very fast with everybody here, and they're like, wait, we need clothes. So back in New York, they want to eat the kids. Natcher says, we have work to do, you can have them after we eat. And then he keeps them together to dampen the powers and keeps them trapped here. And he sends his glasses so that they can find the kids. And then he says, I need to contact the Goblin Queen. That's an X-Men 238, also covered. And so he's trying to speed things up. And he says, I would feed both of those children to the demon who brought me away to do my magics faster. So here we go. Kids land. They have some vending machines here that they don't have. They're gonna try to get some money out, so he's gonna use his power, and after all that, it just takes out a quarter, and she's like, huh, that's it. So she puts in her boom boom in there, and I love this. This is very cartoony. Run, and then boom, and of course they destroy everything, and they're like, I was trying to avoid that mess. And of course, I love this cartooning. So Takeshi's gonna fix everything because he fixes machines and creates a brand new one. And look at Boom Boom getting stuff out of the vending machine. They're gonna use the calls to try to call New York, but no one is answering. Of course, if you know what's going on in New York with Inferno, you can sort of see they offer him some Twinkies. He's like, how about granola and a yogurt? Because he thinks the Twinkies are too unhealthy. So now we're going to go see this baby here. And this baby is going to be one of the ones that is kidnapped. So the parents are just talking. Nothing really to discuss here. And they're going to go get the baby or go look at it. And when they do, they see the demons taking the baby. This one kills the husband. The wife or the mom here tries to stop the kid and from leaving, and of course she yells no for poor little Timmy. All right, we go with the kids here. Demons find them, and they're like, hey, it's that kid with the wheelchair from the previous issue. And so this is how you're going to see him get kidnapped later. They're bringing him down. They're going to go get some clothes here. And he creates, he starts customing things. And he, of course, is going to end up creating like his own little credit card, which is a form of stealing, but that's all right. Morals aren't important to this story. And so the kids are wearing their new duds here. So, all right, the kids see them here. They put on the glasses. They see that there's power. This is what I mean about the credit card. And oh, sorry, he didn't create one. It is his parents, so they're gonna leave him here so that they're gonna pay for it. All right, I said all that about morals, and nope, there we go. So he's paying for everything. And so the police arrive. The kids see it. They're going to get out of there. He's got an idea here. He's going to try and get the Takashi. And they can't get a hold of X Factor, so they're going to have to do everything themselves. He lands the thing and makes it into a garbage dump. Speaking of garbage, this is New York. And so... which is funny because that's exactly what's happening now in New York based on stuff I've seen in social media. So, but they thought maybe the garbage people were on strike, and they said no, they just can't keep up. They tried calling X Factor, but there's no number, and so they're not able to reach him. He hangs up the payphone, and you can see the payphone is alive. Things aren't working quite well in New York, and he's like, hey, the phone is alive, but of course nobody believes it. So now we're gonna go to baby number 2, and he's kidnapped by the demon. And look, they leave. The same with other, like what they did with Artie and Leech. And so they bring these 2, and somebody else had brought 2, so now they have 4. But Naster is like, I need 13. Get me 13. And so Artie and Leech are trying to take care of these kids here. And so they're like, hey, this lots of human, lots of babies found. And so they've got the glasses on, and everybody wants to see. And of course, this guy's Crotus. He's like, do my bidding, and I'll let you look through the glasses here. So, all right. So they are eventually going to take Takeshi, I believe. And so they are going to take him with him. And now we see what the cover was about. That it was really nice during this era. You could look at the cover and sort of find out what was going to happen in the story inside. Now covers are just pinups. And so the kids fight these demons here. Richter uses his power to bring everything down. Meanwhile, now with Naster, um, he's like, I need 13 infants with power and purity, and who will act as focuses for my power and force open Limbo's gates and create basically hell on Earth. And they're like, hey, you wanted things speed up? We brought you this kid because he's super smart and he can get you what you need. And so, um, that is the whole purpose of kidnapping him to help Naster speed things up. And so, two down, two issues to go. So number three is actually going to be quite quick because there's a lot of action here that sort of uh, will take over most of the issues. So they're trying to find right now how to find the kids, but the demons are using this gigantic library here and throwing the books at them. Guess who's coming to dinner? Same creative team as before. The books start hauling. Everything's coming alive. Of course, we're gonna be covering Inferno in X Factor and Uncanny X-Men, and most likely New Mutants will be done in a big video, kind of like this one. I've already covered the Amazing Spider-Man issues of Todd McFarlane that with the lions in the public library. So, all right. Everything is becoming alive. We see these two policemen in the cemetery and looking at these bones. Suddenly, these demons get them, and so they are going to send them here because they're hungry. And so Takeshi here is supposed to help Naster get all those infants and help him speed him up here. They bring these cops here, and he's gonna show him what he can do. So he starts eating this one, turns him into another demon, and so he's like, you have to do this, and of course he's being tough. And so what he's basically going to do is buy time. He's going to buy time until the Rusty and Boom Boom and Richter get them. And so they want to eat the kids. He's like, hey, can I borrow those guns? And so they give him the cops' guns. He's going to turn them into a thing. And he's like, ha, technology. I have my own way of dealing technology. Turns it into this kind of thing here. All right, kids are going in the subway. Of course, this is Inferno. You can see that the subway is going to try to eat this guy. They jump over. They're going to go in the train, but now the train is going to close out. And he's going to use his powers to open it back up. She gets in, and now it starts to move. And the train, of course, is alive. So he kills the gun, and he's like, hey, I need you to do this for me, which is to find a way so that he can get those kids and rule the next kingdom and be able to take over everything. He's explaining that Sim is with the techno-organic virus. I have covered that during the Claremont era, where Warlock's dad Magus infected everybody in with the techno-organic virus. So that was now he's fighting the New Mutants. That is something I have not covered yet. And so he's like, help me. And so he again tells them, I'm going to stall. He's like, sure, but I need health food. I need them. I need, he just starts giving him demands, and Naster's like, you mutant are in no position to bargain. And so he's like, hey, what you're asking is difficult. So, all right, back to the kids here. Again, Demons, New York, Inferno. So, this story kind of starts, it's running concurrently to all the stuff sort of happening in Inferno. So that's why I'm just sort of covering this all in a standalone now that we're in Inferno on all the other titles. So here we go, and they give him all the stuff that he needs here, and they're like, we need the kids to eat them. and they're like, you can't eat my friends. I'll be too traumatized. I can't work. And so they're like, fine, we'll eat the other policemen here. And they said, get to work or that will happen to you. So they're eating the cop there. And so he's like, makes himself a wheelchair. Meantime, the kids are making their way to them. This here looks to be that this is photocopied, some kind of photocopy that was done, Photoshop before Photoshop. And so they're looking out there. They're like, get away from the bikes. And of course, boom, boom, already putting stuff in there here. I like John Bogdanove. He actually does good work. His Man of Steel run with Louise Simonson is actually pretty good. And so they're getting ready to go find these kids, and the X-Termiators are making their way to everybody. So we're gonna hit where everybody's now gonna be with everybody. So here we go, nice magenta. And so here we go. And time to find the kids. And so this is essentially, we're gonna have another fight here, but ultimately they bring the babies that are needed and then start fighting the kids. And so Takeshi realizes that he probably made a mistake. And so now that he's able to get in, he's going to, it says here, a spell of transport which will take us all to the most central source of negative energy in Manhattan, Times Square. And so here comes everybody, and Takeshi knows he's screwed up. And here is everybody powerless and trapped. Demons are coming. And now Nasri has gained control of everything and believes he will be master of everything. And he says here he will rule the Inferno that Manhattan will become. And of course, he's like, oh, crud. Because of me, millions of people will die. I've got to stop it. I've got to save them, but how? And so we're now going to head to the final issue, which guest stars the New Mutants. So this issue, it's the last issue, and it guest stars the New Mutants. And this issue takes place immediately after New Mutants 71, which is where Magic and Sim go and fight. It's kind of weird because Louise Simonson is trying to incorporate everything everywhere in all three of her titles, so a lot of stuff happens in between panels, end of issues, whatever. Like in 71, Nastris was in there, but how can he be in issue 71 when he was here? It starts to kind of break down when you start looking at all the titles. Also, after this issue, we're gonna see Rusty and the kids join the New Mutants, which will go on until the Rob Liefeld era. So finale, same creative team as everybody else. This issue is going to be super quick because most of everything that happens here is going to be a fight. And so here we go. I love this panel. Very good stuff. The double page spread here. All the demons coming from in here. Very nice. And so here comes the New Mutants. As I mentioned, New Mutants 71. And this is Magic, by the way. This is Ileana Rasputin kind of giving herself all the way into the Dark Child thing. So Ileana is 100% given in. And so here we go. Not much really as far as story goes, except that they're going to try to stop him. And they eventually do, because of course this is a comic book and we can't have demons running around forever and ever. So there's a couple of crossovers through this, which here you can see unplugging the computer here, which causes things to come undone. The Amazing Spider-Man I have covered, and I have not covered Daredevil yet. So Daredevil, there is some stuff that will be happening. So, but I have not gotten to those yet. I haven't gotten to John Romita Jr.'s Daredevil run here. Here, Sim and Naster are fighting again. They fought also in the New Mutant 71. And so we're going to have a demon fight with everybody here. Takesha built these airplanes, and so here we go. It's just like I said, this story is just one of a fill-in, basically to give more context and more stuff to the stuff that's happening in Inferno, which we're gonna get to with the New Mutants. They're saving these babies here. They got all 13 babies and stopping uh, the demons. And now without these kids, they're not gonna be able to basically do hell on Earth. So Limbo's gonna stay where they're at. But they call it limbo, but it's really hell. I don't know. Maybe they want to use the word hell during the time. So he's like, "Hey, fix this for me," and you can see here. So he uses the techno-organic virus to consume the souls here, or energy, and so this is really about Naster against Sim here. And so he does his thing, and Naster's gonna win, and then he presses another button, and now everyone's gonna go away. So he basically is gonna set everything back okay. You can see that the kid's being little by little. Sorry, I should have pointed it out. This stuff is growing around him, and so they're like, hey, it's gonna crush. We gotta get him out of here. And so that Sim and Naster continue fighting. The kids are just not able to get the stuff. You see Boom Boom throw her little bombs everywhere, and Naster here is still fighting Sim. This is, like I said, basically fight, 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 and I like how they call themselves a fool. You're a fool. No, you're a fool. And so we've got a red Naster, like he's become super duper powerful. And you can see Takeshi going back to the computer here, and he is going to try and use his powers here and basically stop everything here. And so they shut down the portal. No more demons enter Earth from Limbo. How do we get home? And he's like, hey, why should we go home? We can just live right here. And so I don't know if they ever do anything with that other than Inferno. Perhaps that's the finale here. Of Inferno, they find Takeshi, and he looks like he has died, or at least is seriously hurt. They have the kids here, and Takeshi is alive, just hurt, and he's gonna be okay. And he's like, hey, you did this, and now the X-Terminators are gonna join the New Mutants. And so it says here Inferno goes on, which we are going to be covering, but the Exterminators will continue now in New Mutants. And I believe Rusty, Skids, and Boom, I think all of them are gonna be in New Mutants, and eventually, like I said, this is gonna lead to the Rob Liefeld era, but we're not quite there yet. So all right, here we go. Exterminators 1 through 4, written by Louise Simonson and drawn by John Bogdanove, with inks by Al Milgrom, except issue 1, which also featured Al Williamson. Like I said, this is sort of just to give more context to Inferno. And yeah, that's about it. So I like this warlock here with the kid. I don't know who this one is. This is Sunspot here. We've got Mirage, and we've got oh my goodness, Cannonball. We are missing Magma still, and we are missing oh my goodness, Karma. So anyway, there you go. Like and subscribe, and I do thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.